I'm joined here today by the one, the only, of course, talking about Dominique Wooding, coming off yet another excellent performance for Cage Warriors, another knockout. How you doing, sir? Thanks for joining me.
I'm all good. I'm all good. I'm all good. Thank you.
We're glad to hear it. 2021, man, what a year for you, coming out there, getting all these knockouts, doing big things in Cage Warriors. We're starting to hear the UFC a little bit, man. What's been different in this year? What's been going right for you so far?
Just a shift in mentality. Um, being with a new fight team. Well, not a new fight team. Just going back with some of my old teammates and coaches. Adding new coaches. And just having some conversations with myself and my close ones in uh in me being able to make that shift and turn that corner for me to actualize my greatness.
What was there something in particular that made you sort of flip that switch? Like, do you remember one thing in particular where you were like, okay, I have to make a change? Like, was there one instance, or is it just kind of the accumulation?
Um, I'd say it's an accumulation, but I'd say that to pinpoint one specific time uh, for me to make these changes was after my last Bellator fight, being on a two two fight skid, and obviously getting cut from Bellator. I was very down when um when that happened when they released me, and I was just yeah I knew I needed to make changes, but I just didn't make them as of yet up until that point. So obviously the changes were made, and as you can see, I'm steaming through everyone that I've steamed through everyone that I've faced this year, and with that being done, I got myself a world title and defended a world title. So that's happy days for me.
So we are recording this in December 2021. Where are you at mentally compared to where you were exactly a year ago in December 2020? I assume it's got to be night and day difference.
Yeah, 100%. To December 2020, that's when November 2020 was the time I moved over to GB Top Team, and December of 2020, I was still down, but I wasn't out, and I knew I'd soon be seeing better days, because obviously the train I'm getting is the training that I needed, that I was missing for the past couple years, year and a half. So December 2020 was a time of me plotting and putting goals for 2021, and saying what I was going to do in 2021, and what I set out to do is what I've done this year, and it's been a very, very successful year.
So we know after your fight, there was a lot of talk of UFC. I believe you were doing an interview with Cage Warriors. I remember you were eating a snack or whatever it was, and you were talking about the UFC
Yeah.
there too. What's the story with the UFC? Like, have you heard something say like, "Hey, the UFC is paying attention"? Like, what's kind of the story with you in the UFC at this point?
Yeah, the UFC know about me. They know me, and they really like me. But what I heard back from my manager was that Sean Shelby is saying the UFC bantamweight roster is full, but he really likes me. So it's good and bad. Like, eh, hearing from others how Sean Shelby's like, he could say one thing one day, and then after he'll change up and say another the next day. Do you get what I'm saying? So he likes me, but he's saying the UFC bantamweight roster is full. But the thing is, it's like, come on, man, if you like me, just sign me already. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's guys to be released. Like, there's guys to be released. Do you know what I mean? Like, just this past weekend, Andre Yule fought. He's on, what's he on, a 3 fight losing streak now?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, he needs to go. Let me take his place. Do you know what I mean? Like, listen, what I've done this year is unprecedented. Do you know what I mean? Like, for me to just come in 3 back-to-back devastating finishes. Let me not say finishes. 3 devastating murderous KOs. 3 back-to-back KOs, and the amount of the time I did it in within 6 months. I signed with Cage Warriors in April of this year. My season with Cage Warriors started in June, so from June to December, that's 6 months. And look what I've done, unprecedented. And especially knowing where I've come from and what I was going through prior to all of that. Do you know what I mean? That's deserving of a UFC contract. That ain't no. That's not, I don't want to hear no talks of Dana White Contender Series or all of that rubbishness. Listen, I'm deserving of a straight UFC contract. Do you know what I mean? Like, all my wins come via KO. All my KOs are all statements. No TKOs, none of that rubbishness. Do you know what I mean? I KO every man I step in there with a win. Do you know what I mean? 100% finish rate. My style puts bums on seats. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've got a very exciting style, and especially after this last fight, the amount of support I'm getting from fans, like globally, the amount of messages I'm getting from fans and supporters, friends, family, supporters that I don't even know. Is this UFC contract here? Are you going to be in UFC? We need you in the UFC. And the thing is, it's quite, I love it, but it's jarring to hear because I ain't got my contract yet. So, like, what else do I need to do? Do you know what I mean? Like, Sean Shelby likes me, so just take me in. Just take me in. Just give me the contract already. Do you know what I mean? So, and obviously with him doing that, I'll show him. Why. I'll show him why he has to sign me. Do you know what I mean? So it's like hearing that the UFC bantamweight division is full. Like, that's rubbish to me. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you really like the fighter, just sign them. Do you know what I mean? If Dana White was a matchmaker, guarantee he would have signed me already within a heartbeat. You know what I mean? So um, that's where we're at with the UFC right now. Obviously, they like me, but the bantamweight division is full. So it just doesn't make sense to me. Do you know what I mean? If you like me, just take me in. Do you know what I mean? Like, because obviously my mindset right now, where my mindset is right now, is the next step is UFC. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, obviously I'm still contracted to Cage Warriors, but it's even like after my last fight with Cage Warriors, the vibes I was getting off Graham Boylan and Ian Dean was as if like they know my next fight is going to be in the UFC. So funny enough, even Ian Dean messaged me the other day saying, just thanking me and appreciating the work I've done for Cage Warriors, and he even said to me he hopes to see me on making my UFC debut in London March 19th with the UFC. So you can see already there the vibes I'm getting off of Cage Warriors. They can see that my time is like kind of is done with them, and they're expecting me to get my shot now. Do you get what I'm saying? But it's just frustrating because to hear Sean Shelby likes you and then for him to not send you a contract is it's a bit mad to me. Do you know what I mean? So, but you never know. Look, you never know. Even tomorrow, I might even get my manager. I even may get my manager contact me and say, "Hey, Sean Shelby wants to sign you." Do you get what I'm saying? So, you never know with Sean, man. Sean, from what I've heard about Sean's very. It's very hard to gauge that guy from what I've heard. So you never know. He can turn around and say, "Hey, we want Domin." Do you know what I mean? So that's where we're at with the UFC.
And so, knowing what we know about the UFC, the matchmakers and everything, is it fair to say that at this point, the roster's full, all that stuff that we know? I mean, come on, it's definitely not true. But is it fair to say, like, if you make that UFC debut, it's probably going to be something short notice, like, hey, you got 2 weeks, can you make 135?
Honestly speaking, I like to get signed and listen. I like to get signed and have a fight at the same time. But I'm not really a short notice guy. I've never really taken short notice fights because obviously I like to have full preparation. Do you get what I'm saying? Although we're training all year round, as a fighter, you want to know you want to have a bit of time to prepare for for an opponent. Do you get what I'm saying? But you never know. It could be short notice. But we'll see if that time if that opportunity comes, then I'll evaluate properly with my coaches and my management, and then we'll see what we'll do there. But obviously, it's Christmas now, and after Christmas, I'll be back to work. Do you get what I'm saying? So I'm just having a little. I'm just having a little bit of time off. Obviously, I've had a very busy year, very heavy, busy year, back-to-back fights, and I think the rest is deserved now. Do you get what I'm saying? But obviously, like I'm still in the gym, but I'm not training like I'm training for a fight. If that makes sense. Um, but there's one guy that I think will be a good fight for me on UFC London. Kevin Natividad. Um, I did a recent interview, and as they shared it on Twitter, they tagged him in, and he responded to the tweet. So I responded back to him saying, "Listen, you're 0-2 in the UFC. I'll help the UFC hand you over your pink slip." Do you know what I mean? So the fight, I think the fight's there. Do you know what I mean? But obviously that's down to the UFC if they want to make that fight and if they want to sign me.
So what is it about him? Like, what was it about his name that stood out? Because obviously, division stack. There's names upon names, guys that aren't even ranked that are interesting fights. What was it about him where you're like, oh yeah, that's the guy?
It's just a great debut for me. It's a great 50 G's performance of the night bonus there for me. Do you know what I mean? With that fight, do you know what I mean? Just a good introduction for me to coming into the UFC. Do you get what I'm saying? So obviously, it's like if I am to get signed, I'm not going to be fighting top 10 or top five guys straight away. I've got to build myself up, and obviously that's going to be me fighting unranked guys. And he's just one of them. Do you know what I mean? So I think that he's a good first fight for me. Do you know what I mean? So he said to me he doesn't give a heck who he fights next, as he's on two losses right now. So obviously he's backs up against the wall. So if he gets another loss, that's going to be him gone. Do you get what I'm saying? So I can be the guy to help the UFC hand him over his pink slip, and that's that.
All right, so to get to something a little bit more fun, which I'm sure you've been dreading, I'm sure you're sweating a little bit thinking about it, but there's a clip that went viral on Twitter a little bit recently where shout out to Abs who did the interview with you in person, but got to hear a little bit out of Anderson Silva, kind of out of nowhere. I didn't realize that was something you had waiting in the wings. Would it be possible to ask a question to the GOAT Anderson Silva if we get the opportunity?
All right, go on. What do you want to ask him?
And so this is a very TMZ question. Like I'm following you with the camera, all in your personal space and all that stuff. But Anderson, legend, what's the deal with Jake Paul? Can we expect the Jake Paul boxing match full clickbait in 2022?
Jake Paul, great fight. Um, but we see what happens. I'm training hard. I'm just waiting for news. That's all. That's that. I'll give you that. I'll
So
give you that. That's that.
that's so good. Where does that come from? Where does the Anderson Silva come from? Because people always talk about his voice. Like when you first see him, you imagine like the hey, how you doing? But he's got that particular voice. Where did that come from?
Good at impersonating. Like if you go on my Instagram, you'll see I've got some videos of me impersonating. I even did one of Mike Tyson. I even did Nigel Benn. I did Chris Eubank. It's all on my Instagram. So I'm good at impersonating um, people and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Like one thing that I would one thing that I'd like to do within my MMA career is get an opportunity of acting. Do you get what I'm saying? So, because obviously you can't fight for the rest of your life. So obviously opening up different opportunities and avenues for yourself as a fighter within your sport is a great thing to do. Do you know what I mean? So you never know. You never know. You might catch me in Hollywood one day. Do you know what I mean? You might catch me being on the next Black Panther film. You never know. You never know.
The Chris Eubank is a fun one because everyone that does him, they always talk about how you have to be pretentious. Like you have to look like you're talking down to everyone. Some people even bust
Yeah,
out the fake poem. Do you have the poem to read aloud when you're doing Chris Eubank?
I just improvise. I don't read nothing or anything. I just improvise. Do you know what I mean? It's like I can watch, for example, I can watch a video of like Mike Tyson talking, and then right off the bat, I can just impersonate him, kind of thing, if that makes sense. So I don't write anything or plan anything, kind of thing. But it's just I just improvise everything. Do you know what I mean?
Do you struggle to do the American accent when you do American actors? Because we know English guys. Some guys are excellent. We see them in movies, and people in America are like, "What? You're English?" Are you one of those people? Do you struggle, or do you kind of have it down?
No, I could do it. I could do it. I could do it. I could do American accent. I could do different. I could do different types because obviously in different places like East Coast, South Coast, you got the West Coast. You know what I mean, they all got different accents. You know what I mean, so I could do some of them, but I
Listen,
ain't
I'm
gonna
gonna
do it now. I'm not
no,
gonna do it
I have to
now.
put you on. There's one I need to hear from you because this is my favorite one. The English people do is when they do the Southern accent. You know, the cowboys and stuff like that. Dominic Wooding, please tell me you have a Southern accent somewhere in your repertoire, just waiting.
Well, like a cowboy accent.
Exactly. Yes, sir.
What do you want me to say?
I mean, you know, I'm not gonna put you on the spot and make you make something up, but let's say you're a cowboy, right? Tell us about, I don't know, man, your ranch. How's everything going on the ranch? Something like that.
Oh my God. You put me on the spot
I have
now.
to. I have, you want to be an actor. I mean, this is you're gonna do these night shows,
Ah,
and they're gonna bring out all the different celebrities. You're gonna have 5 seconds to give them something. This is practice. If anything, you're welcome.
all right. What should I say?
Tell us about your ranch, Dominic Wooding.
Cool. This my ranch, 18 wheeler, San Antonio, Texas. I'll leave it there. I'll leave it there. That's all right. That's all right.
I love it. I love when English people do it because you know the stereotypes, you know the stuff they come up with. You know, I got my 18 wheeler.
Yeah, yeah.
Excellent. I love it. I love it. I'm looking forward to hearing more of it because there's some good ones there.
Got my what do you call it? You haul truck?
Oh, no, you wouldn't say U-Haul is like if you're moving. If you mean
Yeah,
like a pickup truck, like with the
yeah,
gigantic.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
say my
yeah,
my pickup, and
yeah,
then
yeah,
the important you got to
yeah,
spit.
yeah,
You have to spit the chewing about pickup. One of
yeah.
those things.
That's proper Southern, man. That's proper Southern.
All right, man. Before we get too far off track, man. UFC. Are you able to sleep at night, or are you thinking UFC constantly? Do you have those three letters sort of torturing you at
You
this
know
point?
what? You know what? Like, if you if you watched my last fight and you see the way how it went and what was being said after the fight with my post fight interviews and stuff and just the feel of it, if you with you watching it, automatically you're gonna automatically think, yeah, he's going to the UFC next. Do you get what I'm saying? So if I was to get a contract right now, it would be fitting things have for how things has gone for that last fight and what was said after that last fight. Do you know what I mean? Post fight. So yeah, my eyes are set on UFC. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, obviously, I'm still contracted to Cage Warriors, but my eyes are set on UFC. Do you get what I'm saying? It's only right if I sign right now because what I've done this whole past year just can't be denied, man. Like I've put in so much work, I've I've sacrificed a lot, and I've done a lot in order for me to get to this position right now. Do you get what I'm saying? So as of right now, I'm in a very hot position. So this is the right time for the UFC to come in and take me in.
All right, one last question for you. We know how different
Hmm.
it was a year ago for you. Looking 1 year into the future, what does a perfect 2022 look like for you?
A perfect 2020. Well, obviously me having my first fight in the UFC and just trailblazing through anyone they put in front of me.
Well, there we go, man. We look forward to it. Thanks so much for the time. I really appreciate it. I truly hope we see that announcement on Instagram soon with the UFC
Yeah,
gloves
man.
and the pen.
Yeah,
And
man. Yeah, that'll be life's work, man. Do you know what I mean? That'll be a dream come true kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? So you never know. You never know. I could get news tomorrow and say, "Hey, we got your UFC contract." Do you know what I mean? So I'm still hoping.
yes, sir. All right, man. We look forward to
Mm.
it. Thanks so much for the time, man. I really appreciate it.